How's it going, everybody? Scouts311 here, and this is Descent: Journey in the Dark, 2nd edition board game. One reason why I haven't been doing a lot of videos of video games is because I've really gotten into board games lately, or tabletop games, however you want to call them. There's so many different kinds these days, and one of my favorite ones that I've gotten into is this one, Descent. This and Imperial Assault is the other one, which is basically Descent in Star Wars. Same company makes it, Fantasy Flight, who make just awesome games. So Descent is a dungeon crawling game with a quest system. Here's the quest guide. The quest we're going to be working on is the one that comes with the vanilla game, the original. The Shadow Rune is the quest. Here's the map that you go with and all the different quests that entail the whole adventure. The way the game works is you have Act 1 quests, like the Masquerade Ball here has a 1 next to it, the Fat Goblin, or a Fat Goblin. Desecrated Tomb is an Act 2 quest. So what you do is you play the interlude first, and then you play 3 Act 1 quests, and then you play, well, not an interlude, I'm sorry, you play like the prologue, and then you play 3 Act 1 quests, and then you play an interlude quest, and you play that dependent on if the good guys or the bad guys have one more of Act 1. And then you move on to Act 2 quests, 3 of those, and then you go to the finale. And those are done with the same basic thing of whether or not who has won the most in the Act 2, I believe. So that is how the quest goes. You start up here with Interlude. Pretty awesome system for this game. So the way I'm going to play this game, because it's normally a game that is played with this background, I'm sorry, on the bottom, we actually were playing the Star Wars Armada, my wife and I today, and these are our little custom-made board that we use for the starships and with this weird-looking stuff, the best stuff we can find at our local place to make our own little map, to play on. But it actually is pretty good here because what I was concerned about was rolling. It's quiet because it's actually very late, and I don't want to wake up the house. So this is the first map we're going to be doing. But the way this game is normally played is there's Overlord, who's a player, and then heroes, and then other players who run the heroes. I'm going to try to do everything by myself, which isn't normally the way it's done. What I am going to be using is a fine person by the name of Redjak has created an automated Overlord variant, meaning that he's created a system here that you use cards to kind of automate the Overlord, so you can play it as the Overlord in an automated state, so you can play kind of solo, basically. And it works actually very well. As you see, there's a lot of pages to this and a lot of text to learn how to do it. And I probably will screw some of it up. It also has a thing on the back for objective priority, which means like there's certain quests where there's certain objectives that the Overlord wants to do, and this tells you based on what quest you're doing what those creatures will be doing when certain things come up with those cards. So to just show a quick one, we're going to be doing the First Blood, and it says Goblin Archers exit. So anytime the Goblin Archers have a move that requires them, they're trying to get to the exit, because that's how in this first quest the Overlord wins, by them exiting the map. So you can see here that is how that works. If you did a Fat Goblin, the Goblin Archer's first objective would be the bundle of crops, and then exit while carrying them, based on how that quest works. And every quest is represented basically in that way. So it's a very cool, very well done system that I'll show off here to play solo. And as I said, I'll probably end up screwing up a bit, but oh well. Okay, so what you first do with the Overlord system is you create everything here. So you have to set up the campaign like you normally would, but you have to do it in a little different way. So you start up the automated Overlord deck, which is these cards here. And there's 2 ways to put difficulty. There's certain cards here that are called Blitz cards, which makes the monsters kind of group up on certain heroes and makes it a little more difficult game. You can play with a fixed difficulty or increasing. We'll do increasing, I think. So you put 3 Blitz cards into the deck. Whenever an Overlord loses a quest, you add another one. If he does not gain a Blitz card, but he does not gain one when losing the introductory quest. So that won't happen after this first mission. Then you have to decide what deck the Overlord uses. So the Overlord gets certain decks, and he plays cards to try to stop the heroes. So there's a basic deck, and there's a basic 2 deck, because I have pretty much every expansion this game has right now. At least the boxed ones. I don't have like the hero expansions, but all the actual content expansions, like Descent there, and we got Lair of the Worm, Manor of Ravens, and Shadows of Narikal, and a whole bunch of other stuff, a couple other ones. And Basic 2 came in one of those. So we are going to have to choose between Basic and Basic 2. So the way you do that is you choose, you draw an AO card, and if it is odd, you choose Basic 1, and even Basic 2. So let's pull a card, and it is even, so we're going to be using Basic 2 deck. So we grab this, okay, and you always get the universal deck for level ups, and we basically put the Basic 1 deck away. We're not going to need that for this mission. And then you have to now choose the class deck, and these is the stack of class decks, and there's tons of them. And the way these work is you have different classes for your Overlord, like Magus, however you say that, Shadow Dancer, Enchanter is one, Warlord, Saboteur, Infector. So the way we do this is we roll on another sheet that he's created. Okay, so I had to get this sheet. So pick in the class deck for the Overlord. You go with, is it going to be a single class deck or a dual class? So we pick another card. Even, odd, random number is single, dual. So it is even, so that means we're going dual class, which I haven't done before since I've done this. So choose 2 Overlord class decks by rolling percentages on the open group randomizer chart. These 2 class decks will be used when spending Overlord XP. Keep track of which class deck is the first one chosen and which is the second one chosen. Interesting. Okay. That throws a twist out. So what we do is we look at this chart that he created for open monsters, Overlord class decks, plot decks we're not actually using. Overlord class decks. So we roll, we need to roll 1 to 100, so we're going to roll 2 10s. The first one, so it's going to be 0, 6. So we're going to use Enchanter for the first class deck, and then a 33, which will be Magus for the second class deck. Okay, so Magus is right here at the top, and Magus, like I said, I don't know how you say that exactly. Okay. So that's his, and then Enchanter is in here as well. There it is. Okay, so Enchanter 1, Enchanter 2, it's always the same amount, and then Enchanter 3. Okay, so those are the 2 class decks that we are going to be using. And as I said, we keep track of them. So we don't actually use these until the end of the first game, but Enchanter was the first one, and Magus is the second one. So we'll keep track of those, and we put this away for now. We don't really need it the rest of this first mission. And we put this off to the side. We don't really need it until we have actually questions. Okay, so what's going on with this game? How does this work? Well, let's go with the campaign overview, and then we'll move on. So, the twin baronies of Rin and Carthage lie on the outskirts of Terranoth, far from the free cities. Baron Gregory often hosts his friend and ally Baron Zachareth at his seat in the capital city of Arin. And over the years, the 2 baronies have aided one another in times of both war and peace. But now, both baronies are in peril. Monsters stalk their forests and mountains, move in with more purpose and coordination than ever before. A new overlord is rising, a wicked and dangerous foe hidden in the shadows, manipulating events according to his master plan. If the overlord isn't stopped, Rin and Carthage alike will fall into darkness, and the rest of Terranoth will soon follow. Fortunately, a small group of heroes are on the road to Arin. Okay, so our small group of heroes are going to be, since this is the first quest, I chose the heroes that came with the game originally. So, because this is the quest of that game, the original game. So we have our boy here, Grisbin the Thirsty. I'm going to use dies for their health, just because it's easier than having tokens all over the thing. He's our dwarven looking berserker. He comes with a chipped great axe and rage, and he has some ability here. He can perform a rest action. You can immediately discard a condition, and each hero has a heroic feat. If you use it, you flip it over, and for the rest of that encounter, which is pretty much one whole mini mission if it's a one sub mission, but most missions have 2 encounters for the whole mission. So for that encounter, he is only able to use it one time. You flip it over and then you reflip it on the next one. And we're going to use Averick Albright, with the deck Disciple, basically a cleric. He gets a Iron Mace, a Wooden Shield, and the Prayer of Healing. And each hero within 3 spaces of him, including himself, gains Surge, recover 1 health on all attack rolls. I'll explain the Surge as that comes into play. He also has a heroic feat. Roll 2 red power dice. Each hero within 3 spaces of you, including yourself, may recover health equal to the health rolled, or damage equal to the damage rolled. Okay, then we have Jane Fairwood, who is our scout character, green. She's pretty much our archer type character, ranged. She gets a U short bow and nimble as her first class ability. And she gets, when you suffer any amount of damage from an attack, you may choose to suffer some or all of that as fatigue instead. You cannot suffer fatigue in excess of your stamina. In a heroic feat, you may move double your speed and perform an attack. This attack may be performed before, after, or during this movement. And then our freaky Widow Tara, who is going to be using the Necromancer class. And she gets a Reaper's Scythe and Reanimate. She can actually bring out a familiar. And she gets Raise Dead, which is used to bring out the familiar as her first class deck. And those, just for me to snack on, has nothing to do with the game. Hershey Kisses. Once per round, after you roll dice for the attack, you may reroll 1 attack or power die. You may keep the new result. And heroic feat, perform an attack. This attack affects 2 different monsters in your line of sight. 1 attack roll is made, but each monster rolls defense dice separately. Both monsters are considered targets of your attack. It's kind of cool. I don't think I actually showed Grisbun's heroic. Use during your turn to perform 1 attack action. This is in addition to your 2 actions. So normally, characters could do 2 actions on the turn. An action is like moving, attacking, opening a door, searching, resting, things like that. Heroes can actually attack twice on their turn, where monsters can only attack once on their turn. So the heroes get a little benefit to that. But of course the monsters get the benefit of numbers and all that kind of crazy stuff. So that's that. So I need to shuffle up the basic 2 deck, and then I'll show how we're going to set this guy up. Okay, we're all shuffled, I believe, and ready to go. We have our AO deck there, our class deck for our Overlord there. These are little helpers for these this Overlord, automated Overlord system to help. Those are travel cards, won't be used really this time. Shop cards may be used. Condition cards here. Search cards will probably be used. Here are the cards for the creatures that are in this actual game. We have Goblin Archers and Ettins are going to be our main objectives, or the creatures. So let's read First Blood, the introduction quest. As you are traveling toward Arin, you come across the still smoldering remains of a traveling caravan. One of the caravan guards, wearing the livery of Baron Gregory, lies wounded nearby. An ambush, he gasps. That Ettin is sending his minions straight into Arin through the secret path. How could we have known? How could he have known? Ahead you see the lumbering, 2-headed form of an Ettin. He said his name was Mauler. You must stop him. Mauler's goblin minions are taking a secret route to attack Arin, Baron Gregory's seat. If too many of his goblins escape off the far side of the trail, Mauler will have triumphed over you. Your goal is to kill him before that happens. Okay, so monsters, Goblin Archers and Ettins. Set up. Place the Goblin Archers on the Wild Garden. Place the Ettins on the Fire Pit. So the way you do that with this automated Overlord thing, because normally the Overlord would pick where he wants to put them. They have some actual ways to do it here. So first we got to put this is the secret gardens, or the wild garden tile right here. So first you take the master monster of the group that's going on there and you put him on the number. Every tile has a number. If they don't, you just find, I believe, a closest tile toward the heroes maybe or something like that. You find a corner. And then you place the rest of them in clockwise order on the corner. So he goes here, he goes here, he goes here, and he goes here. And then we got to place the Ettins on the fire pit. So here are the Ettins. Pretty cool looking. You place the master monster first. So each monster group has a minion, and the white ones and the masters are the reds. The masters are stronger, have more abilities, stuff like that. So the master monster goes on the one with the number. This guy takes up 4 spots, so he goes on this whole 4 square here. And then the minion is clockwise over, so they're both basically standing on the back. And that is how that is set up. Now we go with the Overlord chooses one of the Ettins. This Ettin is Mauler. Mauler has 2 additional health per hero. So Mauler, we're going to make the red one, I would think, since he's kind of the master. If you look at Mauler's card, or the Ettin card, these are the level 1 monsters. There's also level 2 monsters. You bring them out during Act 2. So they're a little stronger then. So what happens is, this is the speed, health, and defense of the monster. This is their abilities and their surge values. The white one is for the minions, and you go on the bottom, and the red one is for the masters. And these blue and reds are the dice they roll when they attack. So Mauler gets 2 for each hero in the game. We have 4 heroes, so that's 8 more health, plus the 8 he already gets, so he has 16 health. Pretty tough. So you have to remember that he has 16, not the normal. And then we go with place search tokens based on the number of heroes. So on the quest here, this is how you know how to build the quest. You see this as a 2 and a 2. In a 2-player game, those 2 spots would have a search token. In a 3-player game, those 2 and this one. And then in a 4-player game, all the ones here get them. We're playing with 4 heroes. So these search tokens are ways to get treasure and stuff like that in the game. When they're in, there's one under that goblin. You can actually stand on search tokens and things like that. Special rules. The goblin archers may move off the map through the exit. Each time a goblin archer, minion, or master moves off the map, the Overlord places 1 fatigue token in his play area. So the point for the Overlord is we need to get these they're trying to get these goblins through the secret path to attack the town or into Arian. So these guys need to move through here and out the exit. Every time one does, they get a fatigue token is placed in the Overlord area. Once he has 5, he wins the quest. So we have to do our thing. The heroes have to do their thing before 5 of these are placed. 5 goblins get off. At the end of each Overlord turn, he may place 1 goblin archer on the wild garden, respecting group limits. So after every Overlord turn, he can bring out a reinforcement archer. Group limits are these here. If you play a 2-player game, the most you can bring out of this particular monster is 2 minions and a master. 3-player, 3 and a master. 4-player, 4 minions and a master. We're playing 4 players, so they get the maximum amount of villains. So that's what group limits means. If there's already 5 of these out at the end of the turn, he can't put another one out. Okay, so to win, we have to defeat Mauler. And to lose, the Overlord has 5 fatigue tokens in his play area. And that's it. And then you get rewards based on it and some little flavor text depending on how it ends up. So that's it. So we're ready to go. All the little questions about the game we'll do as we roll and play and stuff like that. One thing we need to do, though, is set up our Overlord deck. The way this works is you flip over 4 cards because there's 4 players. It's the amount of cards as players is how many cards the Overlord gets in his hand. And there's a possibility of having 2 decks. This first side is things that would happen on the Overlord's turn. So place this card on a hero when a hero attacks a monster after rolling dice. So this is something that would happen on the hero's turn. You would play it. So you actually move this over to the side. So you have a deck of cards for when heroes do things and a deck of cards for when you do things as the Overlord. So you play this card when a monster attacks a hero, so we'll keep that here. And these will rotate through the game, so you have new cards. You just have to play them when the appropriate time comes up. And you have to remember to do it, which I tend to forget as well. So I have to try my best to remember to play those cards. So the heroes, we have Grisbin here, the Thirsty. Here's his model. Pretty cool. He is going to head here. And we're going to have Averick Albright, our cleric, go here. And we'll have our archer here, Jane, and Widow Tarha, our freaky necromancer, is going to go here. So the heroes usually start on the start tile, usually with the one with the arrow. Okay, so as I said, that is how this is going to go. It's going to be heroes have to kill Mauler to win. He has 16 health, 8 more than the normal Master Etten. And the goblins have to leave to win for the Overlord. 5 of them do. And that's it. So we have dice here, and we're ready to go. So let's go. Okay, so the way the game goes is all the heroes go. They get 2 actions. And then once the heroes' turns are done, then the Overlord goes. And once he's done, flips back, and you just keep going back and forth until someone wins. So each hero has a hero turn summary card, which pretty much explains the turn in order. Start of turn abilities, refresh cards, equipped items, perform 2 actions, end of turn, flip it over, and when all the heroes' cards are flipped over, you know their turns are done. Then it shows the Overlord turn summary, so you can see exactly how he works normally. And when he's done, you flip it back, and then you know everybody's ready, and you just keep flipping this so you know where you are in the game. It works really well. Okay, so what are we going to do? That's the question. We need to kill Mauler, so I think we want to send a couple guys up that way to try to take him out. Maybe our Grisban and our cleric, so you can help keep him healed. Potentially, and then we may, because we don't want to completely forget about these goblins, because they can move fast, and they can get off this board. We may stick Widow Tarha and Jane on goblin duty. That's a possibility. We also have a search token over here that we can try to grab. Search tokens give you items during the quest, and they also give you money at the end, because you end up between every quest you have a shopping phase where you can buy gear for your characters, and more money through every one of these will have, well, I don't know if everyone does, but many of them have money. It may be a health potion, plus on the bottom will say like 25 gold, meaning that you can use the health potion in this mission. Once the mission's done, you don't get to keep it, but you get to the 25 gold that's on the card added to your treasury, so you can buy stuff. Okay, let's figure this out. Let's go with Grisban only has 4 stamina. I think he's going to go balls out. I don't know. So the way you can move is he gets 3 movement. We'll just look at her card. You have movement of 4 for her, 10 health, 4 stamina. Stamina is used for certain abilities and to move extra spaces. And then 1 gray defense, which is used for her defense rolls. And then every character has attributes: strength, knowledge, willpower, I believe, and awareness. And those are used for certain status checks that you have to make in the game. So Grisban can move only 3 spaces, technically. So you can go, let's see, you can move diagonally, so you can go 1, 2, 3. And then if we spent 4 fatigue, he can actually get next to this Etten. And attack. We'll spend all his fatigue to get there. You can spend 1 fatigue for every extra space you want to move up to your maximum, and he has 4 max. So that may not be the best thing to do. It may be good to... if we go 1, 2, 3 here, he can go here too and take a shot at these guys. But I kind of want to make a wall. 1, 2... He's going to go here for 3. And then I can't get to him, but I can block off their path a bit. So I may head here to block that path off and then just end my turn, I guess. Not much going on for his first turn. I usually tend to blow a lot of fatigue moving, and then I never have it when I need it. So Averick has 4. So he's going to do a similar thing, I think. He's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4 to get here. And then he is also going to come up, because he has decent health. He's going to kind of tank along and block, try to go after these guys, probably start of next turn. So we're going to flip him over. I love attacking in the beginning, but I'm going to try to play somewhat maybe smarter, even though it may actually be worse. So we're going to go with Jane. 1, she can move 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Might as well get her as close as possible. Because there is range in this game, you have to roll enough range to hit the target. And she's going to do her first attack. We're not going to worry about the Master Goblin as much, because he has 4 health, where all the other ones have 2. So she's going to take a pop at this first guy here, I think. The way you do range of line of sight is you take any one of the 4 corners of the character who is shooting, and you draw a line to any one of the 4 corners of the person you're attacking or monster. And if there's an uninterrupted line, like this line goes from here to this square, which is part of his square, then you can shoot him. You can't shoot through characters. You can't shoot through walls like this, outside the space of the game. So this is our first attack. So she gets a bow, and she gets, sorry about the shadows that come in, but she gets blue and yellow. So we take a blue and yellow die. And the goblin gets a defense of gray, and he has 2 health that we're trying to hit. So let's roll. So I'll show how the rolling works as we go. So this is a good roll. So defense-wise, he didn't roll anything. There's shields on here, and you subtract that from the hits. She rolls 3 range, which means she can shoot up to 3 spaces and hit. She's only, literally, she's 1, 2 spaces away. Go diagonal. 1, 2. If she didn't, say if she rolled 1 range, she would actually just automatically miss the attack. Or she would have to add range somehow. So she does 4 damage. No blocks, so that's enough to kill this goblin, who only takes 2 to get killed. So he's gone. And her turn is done, because she moved and attacked. Now, Widow Tarha has a very cool ability as the Necromancer class. We're going to move her 4. 1, 2, 3. I'd like to get that search token if possible. So she's going to move here. And then I'm going to spend a fatigue, put it on her card, to have her move 1 more space to here. That doesn't count as an action. Just takes fatigue away. And I'm going to search as my second action. Oh no, well, I want to bring out the reanimate. But you know what, I think I might just do that next turn. I'm going to search this token and see what we find. So I'm going to search this token. And the way that works is you go over here by the search cards. Actually, I should probably bring them into the game more. We'll use them a little bit. We'll put them here. You draw the top card, as they're already shuffled, and you get, she got a stamina potion. Which means you flip this card over during your turn to choose your hero or an adjacent one, and they recover all stamina. And it's worth 25 gold. So we play it during the mission. If the mission, or the the mission ends, or the quest, you lose it, but you get to keep the 25 gold towards your treasury, like I was saying before. So she gets this card over here, and we can use that later. And her turn is done, I think, because, yeah, I'd use 2 actions. And that's it. So it's a start. These guys are going to block the way and try to go after Mauler, I think. We're going to have these 2 guys work on the goblins if possible. Her turn was a little short. I wanted to get that token. Sometimes you can get some stuff that's very useful there. And that is it. Okay, so now we move on to, and I already screwed up because I did not use the uncontrolled power card when a hero attacks a monster. Like I said, I always forget to use these cards. When you're playing with 4 characters, it's hard to remember everything. I'm going to try my best, but I already screwed up once, and that sucks. Okay, so it's the Overlord's turn. So the way the Overlord's turn goes, if you look at the Overlord turn summary card for the thing we're using, resolve start of turn abilities, effects and abilities, there are none. Draw one Overlord card. So you always draw an Overlord card at the beginning, and this card goes on the bottom of the current stack of Overlord's cards. Refresh cards, you'll untap your cards if there are. Reveal next plot card, we're not using those. That's for something else. So activate monsters. So you activate monsters in the order that they were presented in the quest guide. You can also do them randomly if you want to do it different, so you don't see what's coming next. So the way it's presented is Goblin Archers and then Ettins. So the Goblin Archers are going to actually go first. Now they have objective priority of... why isn't this focusing? Come on. They have objective priority of leaving the board. So they're going to try to do that if they can. So the Master Monster goes first. The red one in the group is the first one that goes. So you pull a card for each time a monster activates. Every one. So each goblin's going to get a separate card. Unless a blitz card gets pulled. So you see we have attack, ability, engage. So these are the different things that the creature can do. So first is attack. And then we have these. These symbols represent the cards that each creature each hero has. So Widow Tarha has this orange symbol, and each guy has a symbol based on that card, and that's how you can decide who might get attacked. So attack, we're going to go with if she can attack Avric from where he is. Avric is here. He has no line of sight to Avric, so he can't attack him. So you move on to the next one. That would be the Rogue, Jane, and Jane is actually in his line of sight. Ranged monsters, their maximum range that they can be to do an attack, or their minimum is, well, their maximum is 4. They have to be within 4 to do an attack, or else you have to move them closer. That helps with the range of the dice, and stuff like that. So he's going to attack Jane. He gets a blue and a yellow. The Goblin Archer, as you see. He also has +2 range on a surge and +2 damage on a surge. So he's a little strong for a freaking normal little goblin. He can do some damage. So he gets a blue and a yellow. She gets a gray. She does have an ability that when she suffers any amount of damage from an attack, you can choose to suffer some or all of that as fatigue instead. You cannot suffer fatigue in excess of your stamina. And her nibble ability, each time a monster moves into a space adjacent to you, you may use this card to move one space, then the monster may continue its activation. Okay, so let's see what happens. 1 block. She's going to take some damage here. So 1 surge. So that means that first you spend the surges. You look at his card and see what they are. He has 2 range and 2 damage. He rolled a 2 range, which is actually enough to hit. If he didn't, we would have spent it on range to make sure he hit, but he's 2 spaces away. So we spend it on damage. So that surge, 2 damage, becomes 2 damage now. So that's 6 damage minus the 1 block she got is 5 damage right off the bat out of 8. That was a huge shot. But she has that ability where she could turn damage into stamina, any amount. She has 5 total stamina. So I think we're going to suffer 3 of it as stamina, let's say. And she'll take 2 damage to go from 8 to 6. That's still a big shot. Okay. So he has the ability. Remember, he gets 2 moves. Even the monsters get 2 actions a turn, but only get 1 attack a turn. So does he have any abilities that we can use? No, he has Scamper as his ability, and all that means is he can move through heroes, through a hero space, which normally you can't move through an enemy space. So he has Engage, and because he has objective priority, when he engages the exit, because that's the goal, is for those guys to get to the exit. So he's going to be able to move 5 spaces, because I believe that's what they move. Yes. So he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember, he can move through heroes. with his Scamper ability. So he's done. So now we'll do this guy. Usually you do the one closest to the heroes first. So we'll do this guy. He also gets attack. He is actually... he could shoot Averick. So the top one is Widow Tarha. He can't shoot her. Then the next one is the silver, which is Averick. You could potentially shoot him by going 1, 2, 3, 4, and he can draw a line from here all the way through this line to the corner, to either corner here. So he's able to shoot Averick from 1, 2, 3, 4 away. So he needs a 4 range though. And this is the normal minion. As you can see, he has something called Cowardly, which means that he cannot use a surge unless he's within 3 spaces of any master, monster, or lieutenant, but he is actually not within 3 spaces of a master, monster, or lieutenant because the master moved. So he will not be able to spend surges. So that's useful for the good guys. Okay, so we got blue and yellow for them still, and a white for Jane. And that is a good roll for her. That's 3 blocks. He can't spend surges, he can get anyway, so she blocks the whole attack. Now, again, ability, no, engage. He's going to move 5 spaces to try to get out of here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Next guys. Ability, they don't have one worth a damn. Attack, again. Attack Averick first. Actually, he didn't attack Jane, he attacked Averick. So... and he blocked it anyway. Averick cannot be attacked by that guy. He's too far away. And he can't attack Grisben either. And he can attack Jane now. So Jane is just getting popped by standing there. I guess that's her own fault. Ooh, this isn't good. 1 block. And a surge, which he is in range already, so he spends that on +1 attack. The minions, the master has +2 damage on a surge. This guy only gets +1. So it's 5 damage, -1 is 4. So she is going to take, I think, 2 more and max out her fatigue already on just taking damage. And she's going to take 2 more damage because... put her down to 4. She's just taking a beating by putting her out there by herself. And he's gonna do an engage action 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and move up to here. And now the last goblin goes. He gets ability engage, so he gets to engage right away. So he's going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the exit. And I believe it says in the thing, under engage, and you can look where we find engage, that a figure with objective priority will always move to engage the closest objective target. The objective target is to leave, regardless of other targets. If a figure with objective priority has 2 actions remaining when resolving an engaged action, it will use both of its actions to engage the target. So because that's his first action is engage, he actually just does 2 engages in a row. So he goes 1, 2, 3. So he goes 1, 2, 3. And the thing about that is this is water surrounded by blue. It costs 2 points of movement to go into a water space, not 1. So he's at 3, he has 2 more. So it's going to cost him, he's going to go to the corner here, I guess, for 2 more movements. And that's where he's going to end his turn. And the goblins are done. So now we move on to the Ettins. Mauler goes first, the red one. He gets an engage ability. He has 2 heroes that he can engage. And so we go by color. The objective one is Jane. He can't get her. The next one is Averick. He can get him. So his engage is to move up to 3 spaces. And he can easily do that by going here. And then he engages Averick. Now he has an ability, and he actually does have an ability, the minion, called Throw. So So throw. Sorry, I'm trying to. There we go. Throw, if you look at the back, says choose a hero adjacent to this monster. That monster must test strength. If he fails, remove the hero from the map and place him on an empty space within 3 spaces of his original space. He counts as enter in that space, then the hero suffers a damage. So if he fails the strength test, he gets picked up and tossed by Mauler there, basically. So his strength ability is 2. It's the one right there next to the fist. Right there, the 2. What that means is that when you test something, you roll 2 dice. 2, a black and a silver, or gray, I guess, black and gray. You need to hit or go less than the stat to pass. So since it's 2, we need a 2 or less shields to pass. It's not going to be an easy one. And he rolled 4, so he failed. Which means Mauler picks him up and tosses him 3 spaces away. 1, 2, 3. You try to do it in a straight line, if you can, I believe. And then he suffers 1 damage from being thrown. So it could have been worse damage-wise, but what sucks is he kind of got thrown away from the fight. He will be able to get back there, but now he has to spend movement to get back. Okay, so now that is Mauler's turn. He did 2 actions. So now it is our other Etten. He gets engaged. He's actually not able to engage anybody because he has no room. They can move through monsters, but he has to have 4 spots to land. He can only move 3. So he can move like 1, 2, 3. He can go here, but he won't be able to actually be put down on the map. So he's got to sit there. Ability, he doesn't really have an ability to do. And attack, he doesn't really have an attack to do. So he's just kind of sitting there. He's blocked off by his own guy. There's not a lot he can do. I guess that's it. Okay, so that's the end of the first Overlord stage. Activate monsters. Resolve end of turn abilities. Move top Overlord card to the bottom of the stack. And this says play a card when a monster attacks a hero after rolling dice. Okay, so that stays. And then we end the turn. Now the heroes go. So we flip the heroes cards over to show who can go and who can't. Okay, so Grisbin, I think, is going to go first, because he is on the Mauler, the main dude. He's going to be the one taking some shots at him. So he's going to attack with his chipped great axe. He's not moving, so he can possibly do 2 attacks in 1 turn. So his chipped great axe gets a blue and a red, and it has actually pretty sweet. It has 2 surges. Each one does an additional damage. Normally, if you get a surge token, you can only spend it on 1 specific surge. Most of the time it's like +1 range and +1 damage or something. This one has 2 surges of both damage, so he can spend both of them on, separately on both of those damages. It's pretty cool. And he also has Rage. Perform an attack with a melee weapon. This attack gains +1 damage for 1 fatigue. And we are going to spend that fatigue on Grisbin. Throw it on top of his card. So because he's raging, we have to use it as an action. Perform an attack with a melee weapon. This attack gains 1+1. Okay. It doesn't say to exhaust it, so I believe we can use it again next turn. So it's a blue and a red. The thing about Ettins is they get 2 gray dice for defense, which really sucks. Makes it very difficult to hit at times, or at all times, really. Okay, so here's our roll. The thing about the blue die, as well, is there's an X on it. If this X is ever rolled, that means the attack misses, and that's it. It just misses. There's nothing else that matters. So we do not want that now. We want that when the monsters... Gosh darn it. Hold on. Alright, sorry about that. So, yeah. We want it when the actual creature... Why is this light on now? Sorry. Okay. So let's talk about the blue dice. We don't want it until the creatures roll. So let's roll. Okay, so we got 2 hits. That's a really good attack. That's a really good attack. That is 5 damage and a surge. We could spend that surge to do an additional damage, and remember we paid 1 to do another damage, so that is 7 damage minus 3 defense. So that is 4 damage on our boy Mauler. We're going to throw his on his card. Keep it there. 4 damage on Mauler out of 16, so he still has quite a bit. But our boy gets another attack. And he is able... I can't remember if he can do that again. That might be his action. I gotta figure that out. Hold on. Okay, so after reading this card, it is an action to do a skill, but actually the skill itself says perform an attack with a melee weapon. The attack gains 1 damage. So that was the thing we did, was perform the attack as an action. So we still get another action, so we can actually do that again. So we're going to do it again. We're going to spend another fatigue on our boy. And we are going to perform another attack that gains an additional damage with our chipped great axe. So basically the same thing we're doing again. And another pretty good one. So that is, we're going to spend that surge on another damage. We get another damage because of the skill we use, Rage. So that is 3, 4, 5, 6. 4 more hits, minus 2. 4 more hits. Puts him at 8 damage out of 16 already. Pretty awesome. And Grisman, you are done, but you earned your keep on that move. Okay, so he's doing pretty good there. So I think we're going to leave him there. And we're going to try to take out some of these goblins. So let's start with Averick here. He's adjacent to this minion goblin. So he's going to attack with his iron mace. He gets a blue and a yellow. And if he surges, he can stun with his ability. He also has to exhaust a card during your turn and choose yourself or an adjacent hero to roll a die and heal, which he's not going to do. So he's just going straight against this minion here. Or this, minion. They have 2 damage. He rolls the X of Doom. So this is a missed attack straight up. So he's going to do it again. And this time he actually hits. But he only hits for 3. He blocks 2. So he only does 1 damage. So that guy is actually still kicking, even though he has 2 health. So you put a dull damage token next to him to remind you how his health is. So Averick's turn is done. So now, let's go with our girl, Jane, who has had a lot of fatigue. She can shoot this guy with her line of sight from her spot to his spot here and try to take him out with her U-bow, blue and yellow. And he gets that gray. And she rolls an X. Unbelievable. Okay. So, I didn't really want to spend that much time killing... I wanted her to kill him, then try to kill the other guy. But that's not working. You know, I'm going to try to have her kill the other guy anyway, because she's in range of him as well. Yeah. So hopefully she doesn't roll an X. But she rolls another X. Is this weighted? 2 misses in a row for Jane. Terrible. And the goblins are still there. We can't kill them. Okay, so Widow Tarha is going. Once per round after you roll for an attack, you may reroll 1 attack or power die. That is nice. You must keep the new result. So if she rolls a blue X, you can actually reroll that. That's the attack die. The power dies are blue and yellow, or red and yellow. That's the attack die. She can also reanimate. So she's going to attack first that goblin. He's 3 spaces away. She has a magic staff, which each time you defeat a monster with this weapon, recover 1 health, and she can get a bonus range. Okay, so blue and yellow against his. Oh my god. Okay, well she can re-roll. Once per round, you can re-roll a die. There we go. 4 damage. Okay, so she kills him. Oh my god, 3? That's 3 X's in a row. So he's dead. Now she's going to spend her other action to bring out her reanimate. So as you see, The familiar is treated as a figure, so first she's going to use Raise Dead. It's an action. Place your reanimate familiar token in an empty space adjacent to you. So she's going to place, here's our reanimate token. This is her guy. Adjacent, diagonal counts, so she's going to place him here. It costs 1 fatigue to do this. You may only control 1 reanimate at a time. You may discard your reanimate token at any time during your turn. So the way familiars work is she can take her action and then the reanimate takes their turn, or the reanimate can go first now that it's out and then she can go. So he's basically another way for her to attack. He has his own stats. He has 3 movement, 4 health, and a gray defense die. This familiar is treated as a figure but cannot recover any amount of damage. It may perform 1 attack action during its activation. Each attack made gains +1 damage. He rolls a blue and a red. So he can move also, and then he can only attack once. So he's more like a monster, not a hero, where they can attack twice in one turn. He can only attack once. But he can move 3. So he's going to move 3. And he's going to head up here and move 2, and he's going to attack the minion on the right and try to kill him off. So he gets a blue and a red. The minion, or the minion monster gets that. So okay, and that's his attack. 1 damage, not the best. That guy's still alive, even though he only has 2 health. And now she is done. Because he moved and attacked. Everybody's done. Everybody's done. Okay, so we move on to the Overlord turn. So he gains a Overlord card that gets put on the bottom of the deck. Then he gets to refresh cards, reveal plot card, activate monsters. So the first guy going is the red minion monster. So we get ability, we're not doing it, engage. So he gets to engage 2 times in a row to the exit. So he's going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I guess. There's one thing I'm wondering about it. I think when you actually can, if you're going to move twice, I think you just give yourself 10 movement points. So we're going to do it that way, not 5 and 5. So he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm pretty sure that's actually how you do it. I could be wrong on that. If anybody watches this and knows, let me know. So he's actually gone. So we get a fatigue token over here for the Overlord. 5, and he wins. So now our next guy is going to be this guy, the one closest to the heroes. He gets attack first. Attack. Can he attack Grisbin? He can. He's adjacent to him, so he's going to go after Grisbin for a quick shot. Yellow and blue. And then Grisbin gets a gray die. And now I don't get the X's. So he gets +1 attack, so that is 3 damage minus the 1 for Grisbin's block. Puts Grisbin to 12 health. One thing I like about him is he actually gets a lot of health to start with, which is obviously very useful. So now he gets an engage action, so he's going to make a run for the exit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He'll go that way. Okay, so now the last guy, he's actually right here. He attacks. Can he attack anybody? He actually can. He can attack. He actually can attack Grisbin. The line of sight's a little weird, but he can draw from here to Grisbin's corner here, or actually here, without going through anything. So even though it might look like he's around a corner, he can still be attacked. So he could also attack Averick. No, he can't, because the familiar's in the way. So then the next guy will be Jane, who's more than 4 spaces away. Then the next guy would be Grisbin. So Grisbin is actually up. So blue and yellow against his gray again. And hey, we rolled an X. actually for the bad guys. Nice. So that's a missed attack. And then he gets engaged. So he's going to bolt 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, he gets right to the edge, but not quite out. And his turn is done. Now we move on to the minions. We got number Mauler up. Ability. So he's going to attempt to throw Grisbin, it seems as though. So Grisbin has to test strength. His strength is 5. So 5 or less and he passes. Of course, I roll everything off the table half the time. So we already got a 3 there. And a 2, so that's 5. So he passes the test. So that does not come into play. His next one is engage. He's already engaged with somebody. He could actually move, though. And this actually belongs on this guy. He could move. The way the big monsters move is they shrink down to 1 square. It's kind of weird. And then they move on 1 square, and then when they get to the square they want to get to, they shrink back up, and they have to be placed somewhere where they can rest on that square. So his number 1 priority of engaging, is Widow Tarha. He can't actually get to her. So the next one would be Grisbin, but he's actually already engaged with him, so he doesn't have to use these engage actions. So now he goes to attack. And we're going to use Flurry, which I should have used probably earlier. Play this card when a monster attacks a hero after rolling dice. Well, we'll see after we roll the dice if we're going to play it. Because it gains a surge. Yeah. So let's see what happens here. So he gets a blue and a red. Grisbin gets a white, or a gray, I'm sorry. And he does some massive damage to our boy. Okay, so then if you use this card, play this card when a monster attacks a hero after rolling dice. This attack gains surge. Perform an additional attack after resolving this attack. Add 1 additional green power die to the monster's attack pool. That's crazy. So after resolving this attack, he gets to attack again. So this attack, and he spends that 1 surge token on that ability. So this attack already does 4 damage, straight up, which puts Grisbin to 8. And now he gets to do another attack, but he gets to add a green die into the attack. And this card will thankfully be discarded. So Grisbin gets to try to block again. We really need an X, but we didn't get it. Good defense, though. So this attack gets... He has a 3 surge. Wow. So this blocks this. And that is another 3 plus it's 6 more damage. So Grisbin is now down from 8 to 2 damage. He just took a beating. And finally, our boy is done. And it is now the other guy at his turn. He gets to attack, but because he's in the way, he can't. He can actually use an ability, no. He can engage, 1, 2, 3, but he won't be able to get on that space. So he actually can't do anything. He's trapped again. In the back, he's not able to do anything. Oh well, good for us. Okay, activate, move the top card of the Overlord deck to the bottom, stack, and end the turn. So now, poor Grisbin, who is taking a beating, is up, along with everybody else. Okay, so first, I think Grisbin is going to try to knock this dude out as soon as possible. And then if that doesn't happen, we'll have Averick come in and try to heal him. So Grisbin is going to attack. Yes. So he is going to use another one of his fatigues. He has 2 on there. He has a 4 max to do his rage. Perform an attack with a melee weapon. It gains +1 attack. And then he has the blue and the red die. I may roll these separate, just so they don't go all over the place. Okay, so that is that attack, and then the defense is that. So that is pretty nice. No surges, but that's 3 damage, plus the 1 is 4 more damage. He keeps getting 4 damage. That puts him at 12. So he's actually, Grisman is a single-handedly taking this dude out. That's 12 damage, and he gets another attack, and he's going to use another fatigue, and max out his fatigue to do the same ability again. Gain another damage. Why not? Roll. Okay, that's hits. The defense is really good. 4 blocks. You can spend this surge on an additional attack, so that is 4 hits plus the 1 from the rage is 5 minus, so that's 1 damage. So that was big. So that puts him at 13 out of 16. He's only 3 away from dying. So he's going to use his turn up, and now Averick, I think he's going to come in and try to heal. He has 4 fatigue. It costs 1 to heal, and he's going to try to take that guy out too. I think if he uses 3 fatigue, because he hasn't spent any, he has 4 max. So he's going to use. I need some more fatigue. He's going to use 3 fatigue, I think, to get the 3 spaces up next to Mauler. And then he's going to use his first card, exhaust this card during your turn, and choose yourself or an adjacent hero. Costs 1 fatigue, so he's maxed out on that. Roll 1 red power die. The chosen hero recovers health equal to the damage rolled. So we roll 1 red power die and 2 damage. So he heals a big boy Grisman to 4, which is actually pretty. It's only 2, but it's better than where he's at. And he still gets to do an attack because he used fatigue to move. He gets a blue and a yellow to try to take this guy out. And it's not the best roll. Let's see, we got a surge. We can use that on stun. The problem is that he doesn't hit him. You have to hit him to stun. So he actually is going to miss. Yep. He's going to miss. Because he's blocking that. His surge is stunned, but it only works if you've actually done damage. You can't stun something if you don't hit it. So he's done. So that kind of, yeah, it sucked. Okay. But we do need to take this guy out. So we're going to go with Jane here, who is maxed out on fatigue. And she's going to try to take a shot at this guy. She can move through heroes. She can move 5 spaces. So she can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and get next to this search token. And then she's going to shoot at Mauler with her blue and yellow. She actually gets a little bit of damage for that if she gets some surges. Okay, that's pretty good. This could work depending on the roll. Oh, 4 blocks. Unbelievable. She gets range and damage. So she has the range, so that is 4 damage against 4 blocks. Mauler will not go down. And she moved, so her turn is done. Man, we're moving pretty bad here. Okay, so now it is Widow Tarha's turn. Our Reanimate can move 3 spaces. Can he get next? I think he can. Yeah, he can go 1, 2, 3. Move diagonal through those corners. So he's going to take a shot. He actually gets good attack dice. Blue and a red, which is pretty much the best you can get. Red is all damage. I think only 1 surge on the whole die. But it's the only one that has 3 damage. Is 1 3 damage, 2 3 damage, 2 2 damage. So it also, Oh, and we got one of the threes. This could be it. Depending on Mauler's defense, which he blew finally. So he gets to add +1 damage for his surge. So that's 5 hits, -1 is 4, which takes him to 17 health, which is 1 more than we need of 16 health. So Mauler is defeated. And the game is over. And that is it. And I know already, I'm looking and I forgot to do some of these cards because I just kind of forget. But I'll get better at it. I promise. I'll try to get better at it. I have to make sure every turn to look over and look at the card and then realize what we can do. But that is round 1. That is the interlude of Descent. We have 4 heroes, and that went pretty smoothly. I actually recorded this the other night with 4 different heroes, and I didn't really realize until I started that they all had like 8 health, and it didn't go well. I actually lost. So you can easily lose, just depending on what's going on. I also had the most ridiculous night of rolling X's. I think I rolled at one time 4 in a row. I could not roll X's. A nice double negative. I was rolling X's all the time, and I couldn't kill anything. So it was really... they seem to come up a lot, though, don't they? Again, seriously, I think there's something wrong with this die, because it should never come up that much. There's a 1 in 6 chance, not a 5 in 6 chance. There's another one. But anyway, so we got through it this time, but the other night I lost. So I didn't like the heroes I picked. They weren't balanced enough, so that's why I redid this one and went with the original heroes. And it worked out pretty well. So that's the first quest of Descent. What I'm going to do is you level up your characters, you level up the Overlord. I didn't use the Overlord cards well. I was forgetting to look over there, so that made it a little easier probably than a few things would have came in. I think we were going to win it anyway, though. Grisbin is just, he's a beast. He can just do a lot of damage with that rage. That 1 extra damage helps every turn if you use it. But the Overlord ends up leveling up. We can actually see what happens here. So, should read this. If Mauler is defeated, read the following aloud. The Etin collapses to his knees, one of his heads emitting a grumbling wail, the other head struggles to speak. Though we may die, we are servants of the almighty Overlord. Our master will be triumphant in the end. Arvin will fall. Then both heads grow silent, and the beast topples over. The heroes win. So, the rewards for this introductory quest. Win or lose, each player receives 1 XP. Future quests will grant bonus gold or XP, or perhaps other rewards to the winner of the quest. Okay, so what I'm going to do is level up everybody so it's not on the video and it makes it even longer. And then at the start of the next quest, I will show what everybody did. Basically what happens is everybody gets a class deck, and you have cards that cost an XP. This costs 1, this costs 3, and then there's also a couple that cost 2. 3 that cost 2, 2 that cost 3, 3 that cost 1. So all these guys are going to get 1 XP. So you can choose to buy one of these level 1 cards, and now that is a skill that they own going forward. Deathly Haste, Corpse Blast, what is this? Fury of Undeath. You can choose these, or you can choose to save your experience points and then try to save up for a more powerful or at least a more expensive quest card or class card. So we'll have to make that decision, and then I'll show what ones they bought. The Overlord gets, like I said, cards based on the deck that we showed earlier, Enchanter and the Magus deck. I think Enchanter is what you use in Act 1, maybe, and Magus for Act 2, because that's why I said remember the order. I have to read the rules of the automated Overlord to double-check that. And the other thing is that you get money. Now, we didn't actually get money in this quest, nor sometimes you win money at the end as a reward, but we did get the stamina potion that we never used, and we got 25 gold from it. So that 25 gold goes into the hero's purse, basically, or the treasury, to spend later. What happens is you do a shopping kind of thing in between quests, where you take the amount of, I believe it's the amount of heroes plus 1, and you take the level 1 shop cards like so. We won't have enough to buy anything with only 25 gold. But you take the top 4, say, because it's the number of heroes plus 1, if I remember correctly. So you look at the top cards, and this is what we get. So these are all the shop cards from all the expansions that I have, which is pretty much every expansion for the most part that I could think of, except I really think it is of the big, the box expansions. These guys are all mixed in. So the original deck is a lot smaller, of the Act 1 cards, say, but I've got tons of stuff. You can tell by the corner of the card where it comes from. So these cards here have no icon. This is from the default, the base game. This one has an icon here, which I believe is from the Labyrinth of Ruin, maybe? One. It depends on the icon, and that's where that comes from. This one comes from a different one. I believe this is Lair of the Worm, the Fireball. This is where that one came from. So you'll mix them all in to get cool shit. So this costs 75 gold, 125, 50, 50, and 150. So we don't have enough to buy anything. So we'll put these back, we'll shuffle them back in, and next time we'll be able to, we'll pick again at the end of the next quest, do we have more cash, and then we can buy some upgrades. So the leather armor, say, you gain +1 health straight up. You also gain an additional defense dice. So instead of just the normal die, you also add this brown one. Brown's not that good, but it's still 2 dies. Right, so sorry about that. Mana Weave, say here for 125. After rolling an attack die, exhaust this card to add 1 surge to the results. Pretty sweet. It's an accessory. You can carry up to 3 of those. And each character, I believe. Iron Shield, exhaust this card after rolling defense dice to either re-roll a die or add 1 defense to the result. Another awesome card. This takes up 1 of your arm slots. When it comes to equipment, Widow Tarha here has a 2-handed weapon, meaning she can't equip this shield if she has that weapon, because she obviously has only 2 arms. 2 hands, not 3. Most of these guys do, actually. This bow is 2-handed. Averick actually has a 1-handed mace, and he already has a wooden shield. And then Grisbin's main weapon is this 2-handed great axe. But we can always give them other cards to get rid of that 2-hander, give them a 1-hander and a shield, say if we want, or whatever. Or, two 1-hand weapons. So here's all the stuff. That's how that works. So we can't buy anything now, but we will have 25 gold saved up for next time. Okay. Now I'm officially going to end. I keep talking. So that's it. Quest 1 done. We'll work on Quest 2 and show the level ups and all that stuff in the next vid. So thanks everybody for watching. We will see you guys later.